Is it right in sort of slightly changing tack that part of training this week has had to take place at Loughborough? Why is that?
No, that was pre-organised. I have to say that was pre-organised by the manager last week, just for a change of scenery for the boys. He did that a few times and it worked really well, and so that was pre-planned. Obviously at the time, I think even a few of the players thought it had been done last minute, but no, I can assure you that was pre-organised, and they hosted us, and they were very, very warm and welcoming, and the pitches were lovely there.
In terms of match selection and player personnel, any injuries to contend with this weekend?
I think we'll have a look at Manny Oyeleki again today, but he's a doubt, and I think Gavin's got a few weeks yet of his calf. Apart from that, the long termers, we're in quite a good position, especially when you look back seems ages ago now, the Altrincham game. I think we had 2 or 3 subs. We're touchwood. We're not in that position for tomorrow. Training today will be short and light and on the coach down there, but they're the only ones. Gav's definitely out for tomorrow, and then Manny's a doubt.
Just give us an appraisal, will you, as to where the club are at as regards incomings and outgoings. Clearly it's different for National League clubs, but not for Football League clubs. The bell is soon to chime, isn't it? Where are you at?
I think that, once again, that's a difficult one, because the manager does the recruitment with our recruitment team, and obviously those things have probably hit the pause button at the moment. So for me, that's I would say none of my business really at the moment. It's about me. Just my role's been very simple in these last few days, and for tomorrow is just to keep lads ticking over, and then we'll reassess everything, or the club will reassess things after the weekend. But in terms of recruitment, I can't give you any answers on that.
So then Eastleigh, the next challenge. Well, what do you read into their circumstances? Ben Strevens is no longer their manager. Is that a help or a hindrance this weekend?
Neither. I think Ben's done a good job there. He's a top lad. I know Jason Bristow on a few times, and he's in a similar situation to me going into the game, albeit for different reasons. But it can go 2 ways. You don't know. You never know what they're like to do. Are they going to keep with it because he was the manager's right-hand man? Is he going to change things to try and make his mark as a new guy? You never know. All we do know is that it's going to be a tough game. I think by anyone's admission, they probably underperformed with the players they've got. They've got some good players, and obviously they're at home, and they're going to fancy their chances of turning us over because of our situation on paper, and what the public are perceiving to be what's going on at the football club. Is everything all right? So they'll be confident going into it, I'm sure. It's a first for a long time, I think, 2 sort of temporary guys in charge going head to head, and we're going to give it our all, and the players will have a right go.
And it's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, the battle for the National League title, tomorrow night you might be top, in a couple of weeks you might be 4th, and then 2 weeks after that you might be top again, because there's nothing separating you.
No, and I think I said after the Barnet game, this is probably the toughest I've ever known this league. I think at Leyton Orient it was us, Salford, maybe Solihull, potentially in there at Hartlepool maybe, but it was really us two. Where this year you say it could be 6 or 7. You're looking at the fixtures, and with all due respect, you've got teams going away to the teams down the bottom, and you're thinking actually it's not an easy game. This is, even the teams down the bottom can turn people over. So I think if you'd asked anyone at the start of the season, would you take second place going into the final push, I think we all would have snapped your hand off. But looking around it, obviously the other night you're looking at the scores and you think, oh no, okay, well Wrexham, go on, lose, and other teams, and they don't, because the good teams like ourselves, to get results, you've got to go over the line. You've got to win when people want you to lose. You've got to deal with pressure. You've got to deal with adversity. And we've just got to focus on ourselves, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of cliches probably from me and the staff going into the game tomorrow, but it's one game as it comes, and tomorrow we just got to go there and try and give a good account of ourselves.
And what do you put that kind of strength in depth down to? Money? Increased full-time teams? Because I dare say there'll be more now than there were a decade or so across the division, because there's plenty of seasons, and I say this kind of as a sweeping statement, that the full-time team with money was generally top and everybody else followed. Well, now it's not the case, and it's been like that for several seasons.
Yeah, I think last year I'm good mates with Matty Gray at Sutton, and I was pleased for him last year. What he did there was remarkable, really. But their budget wasn't particularly great, and they did it. They had a way of doing it and winning the league, and they did it. And I think so. It shows that there can be 2 or 3 up there that people don't expect. I think this year you're looking. Answer to your question, I'm probably thinking it's the full time. It's a full time league. It's a fifth league for me. It's not non-league, although it is. I think there's only maybe Wealdstone and Maidenhead. I think twice a week, maybe 3 times a week train. So that's a big part of it. And I think because of the full time, I think it's more attractive for people to go and watch. So the crowds are bigger. You obviously got the thing this year, Wrexham with their owners, and it just brings a bit more of a spotlight on the league, which I think is fantastic. So as much as I wish we were running away with it and the only good team in the league, it's not to be, and it does make it, I suppose, more of an exciting finish to the season.
Just finally then, do you think it should bring some kind of conversation about the amount of teams that can get promoted out of the National League? Because so many great clubs up there, and well, with respect, there are quite a few clubs in League Two that seemingly just try and hang on every year.
Yeah, I think it's coming, to be honest with you. I think it's coming. When, I don't know. I mean, if you're in League Two, are you going to vote for more relegation places? Probably not.
Fair point.
But I do think it's coming. At the minute you've got obviously the EFL and the National, 2 separate entities, so there's always going to be that clash and divide. But if you look, like you say, ourselves, and I'm not going to name all, but Wrexham, Notts County, big old-fashioned league clubs, good league clubs in the day. I think it's probably fair that them and the smaller clubs, without disrespect to them, they should all have a chance to get in that football league. And at the minute it's tough, but for this season we know what we've got to do. We've got to win it or go up through the playoffs. So luckily I think it goes down to 7th, doesn't it? So that top 7 finish for anyone gives them a chance of going up. But yeah, I think ideally it'd be top 6 go up.
What's the mood like in the camp this week?
Training sessions have been lively, been sharp, have been good. Obviously trying to give the players some sort of direction towards Eastleigh and the game itself and things we can do and their strengths, etc. So yeah, training's been good. In terms of the mood around it, I've probably distanced myself a little bit more than usual from the players, because the manager asked for that bridge between him and the players, and obviously me being the one to sort of lead the training mainly this week, I've had to sort of get my head on it and have a real good think about what we're doing and how long we're working for it, and so on. So yeah, the mood's been all right. The mood's been good in terms of we're training today. It'll be a short hour. And then we're heading down to Eastleigh. The boys know what we're doing in training today. They're ready for it. Players are players. Footballers will be footballers. Their intention is to go and get 3 points tomorrow for the club and the supporters, and that won't change that mindset at all until the kick-off tomorrow.
On to team news then. How's Jim Kellerman and his hip injury that he's been struggling with recently? Yeah,
I think he's going to be okay. We'll have a look today how he's in training. I think he got a hell of a whack on it at Maidenhead, and I think it seized up, and so the manager decided to bring him off because he literally couldn't walk in the dressing room at half time. So yeah, I think at the time you're thinking it might be a bit longer than what it actually has been. But we'll have another look today, and he'll certainly travel down to Eastleigh.
And with Gavin Gunning being a doubt, will he perhaps join you, as he does sometimes, on the touchline, sort of in the dugout, and maybe helping with coaching? I think he's got ambitions of that later on in his career.
I think with Gav at the moment, he's a captain when he's fit, and he's probably one of the best centre halves in the league and potentially the league above. So I just had a chat with him yesterday just about how he is in that, and he wants to keep playing for as long as he can, and he's a very good voice in the dressing room. We had it with Joby McAnuff at Leighton Orient, and you have one or two. We've got Curtis Weston as well. Does it? You need one or two of those players around it, and they sometimes say things before you're about to say them, and it saves you saying them, as good captains do. So at the moment, he's great in that dressing room, and he's a big part of the playing staff for sure.
No Jeff King tomorrow. He's obviously suspended. How big of a miss is he going to be?
Well, I think King has been great all season. I think I said it the other day, especially at the start of the season. He was really battling it out with George for that position. Obviously George being a massive loss, but King had come in and stepped up to the plate, and has done excellent. So I think he's scored, he's contributed many goals. I think there's still room for improvement in him to go on him to another level. and he's one of those lads. He wants to learn. Ask lots of questions. He wants to improve. So, yeah, be a loss. But the players we've got and the squad we've got, we're more than capable of replacing him tomorrow and hopefully get the 3 points.
And am I right in thinking that it will be you picking the team and setting them up tomorrow then?
I think what we do tend to do is obviously after the games and talk about the team for the following week, and what have you. So for me, this is more of a, as I say, day by day. I'm thinking heavily about the game, but I think it's a matter of putting out a team that I think would have played. It's a team I think more than capable of winning. I'm certainly gonna, put all my focus on getting the boys revved up for it, and whatever team goes out there, I can assure the fans there they will work their socks off for the supporters.
And just finally, what type of game do you think we can expect tomorrow?
Tough, physical. They've got some good players. They've got some big players. I think everyone's a little bit surprised where they are in the league, and sadly Ben has paid the price for that. And but no, I think it'll be different to what it might have been, because the reason their managers left, then players might now go up. They might have managers there watching who are planning to go into Eastleigh Monday morning, take over the job, and players will want to run about maybe that little bit more to impress that new manager. Maybe not. Maybe it might go the other way. But we can't overthink too much what's going on in their camp, because I'm sure they're discussing what's going on in our camp. And we just have to make sure that once we get on that pitch tomorrow, we are solely focused on us and what we're going to do to win the game.